The Great War has truly begun. After unsuccessful operations off the coast of Tallinn, the main battle fleet of the High Seas Fleet is making their way back towards Danzig. In the meantime, our forces have to defend our convoys against the newly formed Soviet Navy, formerly Russian Navy, who is aggressively trying to raid our coastline in the Baltics. This gives us an opportunity to see the new Scharnhorst class of heavy cruiser in action. The Atlantis and the V-26 are up against a Soviet heavy cruiser of the Deris class, the Severnaya Zvezda, as well as one of their destroyers. With smoke spotted in the northeast, the escorts are disengaging from the convoy and rushing towards the threat, trying to deter and hopefully sink the Soviet forces. And V-26 has spotted what is probably the enemy heavy cruiser, and there she is. This looks like a similar design to what we've been fighting before. The twin turrets forward and aft, and a whole lot of casemated secondaries in these things. So I'm quite keen to see how the Atlantis is going to fare, because this is the first of our new lines of heavy cruisers. Atlantis being armed with 203mm guns, as well as 105mm and 88mm secondaries. And then obviously we've got the V-26, which has I'm not even sure which class that was, but she's got 405mm, so this is at least one of, I think it's the V-16 class. And we will see where that cruiser is going. Okay, we know where the destroyer is. Destroyer is up north. Cruiser is turning slightly in, so I think I am going to also perform a slight turn with the Atlantis just to get the guns on target. And we do have to be careful not to, after the relative disaster last time, we do have to be careful not to get our destroyers too close, even in smoke. But we will see what we can do. I think these relatively old Soviet cruisers had lots of torpedoes. The Atlantis does not have torpedoes. Instead, she's got more guns. And I'm really keen to see what the performance is going to be of those 203mm guns. I think we are still spotting for splashes. Yeah, we're still laddering, so we're still sending out shells and splashes, trying to gauge where exactly the range is. Once we found the range, then that should get a little better. So with that cruiser going this way, he is probably in torpedo range. We will try to get a torpedo drop off from V-26, but obviously we do have to be careful, so we're going to start smoking up already. Just so that we can get a little closer. And it looks like the Atlantis is actually starting to open up at the destroyer. Oh yeah, there is. Okay, so destroyer is coming in. And yes, please target that thing. Turn right turn. And given that the Scharnhorst class of heavy cruisers is meant as fleet escorts, I'm quite keen to see how she's going to perform, honestly, in that role. No, oh, we've lost sight of the destroyer again. Okay. I think we have launched torpedoes at the enemy destroyer. Okay, that means Scharnhorst actually has to. I thought I told you to target the heavy cruiser. Scharnhorst actually has to dodge our own torpedoes here. Slight miscommunication there with the V-26. Okay, hard turn around. Target the heavy cruiser, please. Scharnhorst, target that destroyer for now. And we do have to dodge our own torpedoes here, which means we are going to have to give broadside to the enemy cruiser, which is less than optimal. Okay, I think we're safe from torpedoes, so let's maintain the angle. Destroyer is in a still slightly stern position, so I don't think she can fire torpedoes just yet. So I do want to keep the Atlantis in... I keep saying Scharnhorst. It's Scharnhorst class, Terry. It's the Atlantis. So far, the 203mm are not getting anything done here. We might need to get a lot closer. I think, yeah, given that this... Okay, the destroyer has launched torpedoes. So let's get... let's change target back to the heavy cruiser. Because I don't think we will be actually... where were these torpedoes? I've seen them in the water somewhere there. I think the destroyer launched, but yeah, V-26 needs to get out of there, and she might actually have a better chance with the 105s to hit the destroyer. So we'll target the destroyer for now, and the cruiser is disengaging, and so is the destroyer. Okay, so they're both running away. And I thought I had seen torpedoes in the water, but I might have been wrong there. Okay, so in that case, let's get V-26 turned around, and Atlantis can... Yeah, with the destroyer smoking up and sailing away, there's no chance that we're actually ever gonna catch it. And we will try to get a couple of hits in on that heavy cruiser. And just very slightly adjust our course while we're getting V-26, so she gets her torpedoes reloaded. Back on target. I thought I've seen torpedo wakes in the water, but I was probably mistaken there. Okay, a couple of bouncing shots here from the Atlantis. Atlantis has a fire burning in the stern. Is firing high explosive at the enemy cruiser, but I guess she is angled away, so that sort of makes sense. The destroyer seems to be coming back in, so. Again, switch targets here, and given that the enemy heavy cruiser is sailing away, the destroyer is coming in for a close, probably for a torpedo run, and we'll primary target that thing while we can see it. So let's build up the solution on that, and see if we can get anything on target. Unfortunately, since it's a destroyer, it's going to be relatively difficult. We're going to close in a bit more, and we'll try to get V-26 as well in while the destroyer is targeting the Atlantis. We'll try to get V-26 in, see if she can cross by. Just careful what the enemy cruiser is doing. Enemy cruiser is turning, so V-26 needs to be careful not to be getting too close to the action here. And Atlantis is struggling to get anything on target, honestly. Oh, there we go. That was one of the 88s that has managed to score a hit. But the 203s so far are not doing particularly well, especially against the small target. Small destroyer is now engaging the V-26, so V-26 turnabout again. And we'll again adjust Atlantis' course slightly, such that that thing might be launching torpedoes. So I'm not sure at whom she's launching torpedoes, but V-26 is now out of smoke, and the heavy cruiser is coming in. There come the torpedoes. I think V-26 should be able to avoid these without too much trouble. Hard turn, and Atlantis is still absolutely struggling to land any hits on that destroyer. But given that he's now sailing away, he's managed to get his torpedoes away, and yeah, we're not getting any hits. So I'm gonna get her to retarget the heavy cruiser, and V-26 needs to avoid an incoming fire. Yeah, this is turning out not to be a particularly easy battle. I thought our modern heavy cruiser would have an easier time, but let's see what I really want to see the 203s in action and see what they can do. Yeah, V-26 needs to bob and weave and dodge the incoming shellfire, especially from the secondaries from that heavy cruiser, while the enemy destroyer is let's retarget here. The enemy destroyer is out of torpedoes for now. So let's close in with Atlantis and see what we can make happen here. Slight course adjustment. Building up a solution here with the 203s. 9% so far, not great, but I'll try to get closer. And I think we are getting all 8 guns on target, so that's good. And the V-26 needs to bob and weave. Okay, enemy cruiser is targeting the Atlantis. There's a decent amount of shell fire coming in, and they are certainly starting to set some fires here. And we have yet to return the favor, but solution is improving. Destroyer is closing in again, but I don't think that thing has torpedoes ready. It's a gunboat destroyer, however. Well, it's Soviet. So we're still trying to do something about that heavy cruiser. Although I am tempted to... I'm going to switch target again and see if I can do something about the destroyer while the guns are turning. I am not sure if, given that we V-26 doesn't have smoke ready just yet, and Atlantis is targeting the destroyer now. But yeah, the hit chances are terrible on these guns, honestly. How far is the destroyer away? That's under 3 kilometers. We should be able to. I mean, we've been losing our own destroyers quite catastrophically at that sort of range. So okay, let's get everything targeted on that destroyer. See if we can close a little bit. That was one of the 27s. Okay, now we're starting to score some hits here. I think the 88s are coming within effective range. Almost slight course correction. I don't think they have torpedoes ready just yet. Atlantis herself does not have torpedoes, but I think we're now starting to close into a range where we can become effective. The heavy cruiser does have torpedoes, so we do have to be careful there. So far we'll prevent V-26 from launching her own torpedoes for now, and just to make sure that she's not launching into the direction of the Atlantis. But yeah, I think this is about how close we need to get here, and obviously we do need to be careful with the enemy. Come on, blow this thing out of the water, will you? She is smoking. I think they are trying to reload their torpedoes, so we do have to be very careful here. But come on, good salvo in the side. Yep, that was a penetration, high explosive penetrations. Come on, finish off this destroyer before she can launch her torpedoes again. She is dead in the water. She has gotten the torpedoes away. I don't think Atlantis has a chance to avoid these. Come on, hard turn, hard turn. Okay, you need to target this ship, launch your torpedoes, and get away. Yeah, Atlantis is not going to be able to dodge those torpedoes, unfortunately. I thought we were able to finish her off, but unfortunately that is not the case. So we'd have two pretty severe torpedo hits, and there's another torpedo from the cruiser coming in. Oh, that's come on, turn. She's losing speed. I think full ahead is our only chance here. Yeah, we have managed to avoid that torpedo. V-26 has launched her own torpedoes and needs to get the heck out of there. But Atlantis has taken these 2 torpedo hits. We have flooding in the engine room, and one of our engines has taken a hit. So unfortunately, these 2 torpedoes have detonated on the belt. Friendly torpedoes, 1 hit in the stern on the Severnaya Zvezda. So she's now also flooding, which means we both have taken more damage than we probably were planning on. Atlantis is down to 16 knots due to one of her engines being knocked out, and she is somewhat on fire. But fortunately, the flooding so far seems to be contained. So we'll maintain our course for now, and V-26 it can smoke up again, so let's lay smoke. And Atlantis, given that she's lost a lot of speed, does need to turn in order to maintain the distance to that enemy cruiser, because I think after losing the destroyer, oh, she is listing heavily. I think this cruiser is almost done for. I think she's taken heavy damage here from probably from the torpedo hit, honestly. I think that's almost what's done her in, but so far the main guns of the Atlantis haven't done an awful lot. She's still returning fire though, with all the secondary guns that she's got here. And yeah, Atlantis is still struggling to actually get any hits in with these 203mm. I was expecting a bit more firepower from a modern heavy cruiser, to be fair. So might have to take a look at the battle result afterwards. But yeah, that's these two torpedo hits. I thought we had the destroyer before they were able to launch the torpedoes, honestly. Okay, so Atlantis. Pretty burnt up in the front, somewhat listing, but nowhere near as badly as the Soviet cruiser. And V26 can get a little, not too much closer, just keep peppering her with high explosive. But Atlantis is gonna go into a sort of chasing position, because I think that cruiser is now trying to sail away, but the screws are still turning, but not an awful lot is happening. I think she is probably not going to move too fast anymore. So those guns should be able to finish her off, especially the batteries of 105mm secondaries. Actually, I'm going to take a close look at the battle results screen and see which of the guns are really the effective ones here, and which ones have not done so well, because we have been struggling to get the damage in. Okay, so we do need to turn now because she is turning away, but looks like relatively heavy flooding. And unfortunately Atlantis is not the fastest. She has lost rudder control, so Atlantis is not the fastest at the moment due to her to one of her damaged engines. And the instability on the ship due to the damage is obviously starting to hurt the accuracy of our guns as well. But well, we'll try to. The secondaries actually have a better accuracy than the 203mm. So. Not too impressed with these guns so far. We might go into a little bit of a redesign after we finished off that ship. So, destroyer is out of torpedoes. We'll just sail in a bit closer, such that she gets a better firing solution. We do have to be careful if that thing might still have torpedoes, and Atlantis is seriously slowed down. She has taken a lot of damage, honestly, more than I would have expected, and that thing is still afloat, still not going down. We've now got V26 crossing her T and basically just peppering her with high explosives, trying to set fires and burn this cruiser down. The problem is that we are firing armor piercing with the... Oh, there we go. Oh, we've got an ammo detonation. Okay, so that should have made a big hole into that thing. Yeah, I think we've... it was either in the... Where did we ammo detonate? Aft belt ammo detonation. So we did manage to get a full penetration in the aft belt and have blown up her aft magazine with the armor piercing. I was about to say that the armor piercing doesn't seem to be particularly effective, but it looks like we do need to... Oh, there are torpedoes coming. Who are they aimed at? I think they are aimed at V26, so V26 turn. Avoid these torpedoes, should not be a big problem. And Atlantis, keep hammering. Yeah, I was about to say that the armor-piercing performance of the 203 millimeters wasn't that great, but we have managed to finally get a penetrating hit there. Although now we are struggling again to get shots on target. Let's see. What range are we fighting at? 3 kilometers. Yeah, that's sort of probably the range where these things are going to be effective. V26 can just like turn around. She's almost got smoke ready again. Just keep setting fires with the 105s, and Atlantis is still struggling with her speed due to her damaged engine. But still firing armor piercing at the cruiser. A lot of it's bouncing off, honestly, and not so sure. I'm super happy with these guns. Anyway, that was a good hit, but she's still afloat, and she's still going, and we're sort of struggling here to keep up. Okay, there we go. Another penetrating hit. That was, what was that? These were the 203s, but they have penetrated in the rear where everything's blown up already anyway. So I think not an awful lot more happening. V26 can turn around, kind of maintain that sort of distance. She's got smoke ready anyway, so turn around and then lay smoke once you've got smoke ready. Alright, smoke, and get a little closer. No more torpedoes. I think that thing just fired her starboard torpedo launchers, and I think she is now she has lost engine power, and I think she is now keeling over significantly. I'm not sure if the secondaries are still returning fire, but I think you can see she's listing hard to starboard now. Gets pummeled, and I think she's losing the fight against the waves here. But hard fight, honestly. I thought it would have been a little easier, because this is not a modern cruiser. This is like an old sort of armored cruiser design by the looks of it. So I'm not sure. There she goes, and she sinks due to heavy flooding. So mission accomplished, but I think we will need to review the performance. And she has dealt. How many have we done? We have 161 average armor penetration. That's because we have mostly fired also with the secondaries, but the 203s have done the most damage. 34 hits, 7,500 points of damage with 200 millimeters penetrations. The 102s have not been particularly effective. The 88s have actually been more effective than the 102s, because they seem, that might have been ammo choice. Maybe the 88s, I don't know what they're listed as. It's 105s and 88s, but I think that's just a little typo here. The 88s have actually been very effective compared to also in terms of penetration. I'm going to have to look at that. So we're definitely going to be checking out the ship design for the Scharnhorst class in the next episode. But that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.